The car market may be in a death spiral, mass Netflix cancellations, and young people not buying cars. Today, I read an article on ZeroHedge.com, written by Tyler Durden, likely a pseudonym for writers at Zero Hedge, titled, Aston Martin Crashes, Stellantis Slides as Auto Slowdown Worsens for European Car Makers. According to the author, Volkswagen, Mercedes, and BMW have all slashed their forecasts this month, with Aston Martin and Stellantis following suit on Monday morning. The broader picture reveals that the European auto industry has stalled. Well, my friends, I found this to be interesting, but confusing as well. I thought the economy was booming. Car dealers act like they aren't willing to negotiate on prices because of demand. A friend of mine who is a partner in a CPA firm said one of his clients who owns a car dealership said they are having a hard time selling cars right now because of interest rates. People simply can't afford to buy these expensive vehicles because their payment will be too much. He didn't mention this, but I'm sure there is another problem. Some people probably have a lot of negative equity in their vehicles right now, which is also problematic. Their payment would be even larger if they rolled that negative equity over to the financing of the new vehicle. A lot of people may need to keep driving the vehicles they overpaid for a few years ago when many vehicles were selling for over MSRP. A friend of mine recently was telling me about the crazy prices that some dealers are still trying to charge for used vehicles. I have to wonder, how many dealers are buried in these used cars? Some are probably getting killed with fees from their floor plan provider because the inventory isn't moving. It will be very interesting to see what transpires moving forward in the auto market. I read some of the comments beneath this article. I'll share some of them with you. The first commenter said, "The Corolla is the cheapest car with your off-the-lot price of $26,000. At $26,000 with a mid-credit score, the monthly ownership cost is $700 per month. Half of Americans can't afford your cheapest car." The next commenter said, "Trying to sell $80,000 plus vehicles to a broke consumer isn't a winning formula. Who would have guessed?" Someone responded to this guy with a sarcastic comment. He said, "That's not fair. The people deserve to live big and have expensive toys. Someone call the authorities." Now, this next comment could be construed as a bit political. Keep in mind, these are the thoughts of the commenters. This person said, "Destroy all your sources of cheap energy, oil, coal, gas, nuclear, then pretend you can manufacture anything competitively. Live in a world of delusion until no one will buy your overpriced products. Then find a scapegoat and start a war." Well, my friends, the commenters always have interesting things to say. What do you think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Now, here is a story that really caught me off guard. I read this on foxbusiness.com, written by Yael Halan, titled, "Netflix saw highest day of cancellations this year after co-founder's $7 million donation to Harris campaign." According to the author, Netflix saw a dramatic spike in cancellations after its co-founder, Reed Hastings, revealed he donated $7 million to Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign. Cancellations on the streaming platform almost tripled in the United States after Hastings made the massive donation to a super PAC supporting Harris's presidential bid. Well, my friends, I found this to be interesting. I have to wonder if this is really due to Trump supporters canceling their Netflix subscriptions, or if this has to do with what is happening in the real economy. Some of you may not know this, but today is the last day of Biden's student loan on-ramp program. Tomorrow is October 1st. Starting in October, people with student loans can be charged late fees if they aren't making their payments. They can also fall into delinquency and eventually default, and they can be reported to credit reporting agencies. This has all been prohibited until now because of Biden's on-ramp program. Some people haven't been making their student loan payments because there was no penalty other than interest accruing. Now people will be faced with a difficult decision. Do they cut things out of their life that cost money, such as Netflix, so they can make their student loan payments? Or do they suffer the financial consequences of not making their student loan payments? It is going to be really interesting to see how this all shakes out. I suspect we will find out in a couple of months. We may not hear about this until after the election in November. It is going to be very interesting. Some people grew very comfortable not having to worry about making student loan payments for approximately the last 4 years. On the topic of commitments, I read an interesting article today. This one was on foxbusiness.com, written by Alexander Hall, titled, "Fewer Young People Are Choosing to Buy or Drive Cars, Seeking to Avoid Financial Burden." According to the author, young Americans are increasingly choosing to rely on public transportation as the cost of car ownership has skyrocketed. The author referenced data from the Federal Highway Administration reported by the Wall Street Journal, which indicated the percentage of 19-year-olds with a driver's license dropped steadily from 87.3% in 1983 to 68.7% in 2022. The author went on to say, the decline in younger consumers' interest in buying cars is partially due to how vehicle prices have risen in recent years. Average new car prices are up 32.2% since 2019. The average is $44,604 as of July. Well, my friends, this is interesting information. I'm sure the high cost of vehicles plays a factor here, but there are other things to consider. The cost to insure these cars is also more expensive, and the cost to maintain these high-tech vehicles is becoming a bit ridiculous. I've heard people say a casino is like a license to print money. I'd say a franchise car dealership's repair shop is also like a license to print money. It's discouraging how much some repairs cost these days. There's one more reason why some young people may not be buying as many cars. Decades ago, young people wanted a car for independence. They wanted to travel and visit their friends. Today, some young people are different. They spend their time glued to their smartphones. They live on social media instead of living in the real world. When you live on social media, you don't need a car to the same extent that you once did. Nowadays, some young people don't want to drive to a job. They would rather work from home, being an influencer or running an online store. Times are changing here in America. I've had some of my friends who have told me their children didn't even get a driver's license at the age of 16. They just waited until they felt like it. They weren't excited by the idea of getting a license and being able to drive a car. That's a lot different than when I was in high school. Just about everyone wanted to get a license the day of their birthday. What do you think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. If you would like to become a channel member, there is a link in the description beneath this video. You can read more about the different membership levels. Please also check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.